Mommy. Welcome to Nighty Night Stories. Today, we're going to hear a wonderful bedtime story. Are you ready? Let's get started.
Squirrel's Hidden Acorn. In a peaceful forest, where the trees whispered in the wind and the sunbeams danced on the leaves, lived a playful squirrel named Nighty. Nighty had the fluffiest tail and the brightest eyes, and he loved nothing more than collecting acorns. He had a special acorn that was bigger, shinier, and more delicious looking than any other. It was his most treasured possession. One crisp autumn morning, Nighty decided to hide his prized acorn in a secret spot in the forest. He wanted to save it for a special occasion. So, he scampered through the forest, looking for the perfect hiding place. He darted around trees, leaped over rocks, and finally found a spot near a tall oak tree, where he buried his acorn deep into the ground. Pleased with himself, Nighty went on with his day, playing with his forest friends and gathering more acorns. But as the days passed, he began to forget exactly where he had hidden his special acorn. He searched his memory, but it was as if the location had slipped away like a leaf in the wind. One afternoon, Nighty decided it was time to retrieve his special acorn. He scurried to the oak tree, but when he dug into the ground, the acorn was nowhere to be found. He tried another spot, and another, but still, his acorn was missing. Nighty's heart sank. What if he never found his acorn again? Determined not to give up, Nighty asked his friends for help. First, he went to visit his wise friend, the owl. The owl perched high in a tree, her golden eyes gleaming with wisdom. "Wise owl," Nighty called up, "I've lost my special acorn, and I can't remember where I hid it. Can you help me find it?" The owl tilted her head thoughtfully and replied, "Of course, dear Nighty. Sometimes, the things we cherish most can be found when we stop and think carefully. Let's retrace your steps." Nighty nodded and started to remember the day he buried the acorn. He recalled the tall oak tree and the sound of the wind rustling the leaves. The owl guided Nighty through the forest, helping him to recall the little details of that day. They searched near the oak tree, under the bushes, and around the fallen leaves, but the acorn was still missing. Next, Nighty asked his friend, the rabbit, to help. The rabbit had a great sense of smell and loved to dig. Together, they sniffed around the forest floor, digging up small patches of earth, but the special acorn remained hidden. Finally, Nighty began to feel discouraged. He sat down under the oak tree, his tail drooping with sadness. Just then, the owl and the rabbit came to sit beside him. "Don't give up, Nighty," said the rabbit. "We're here to help you, and we won't stop until we find your acorn." The owl nodded. "Sometimes, what we seek is closer than we think." Nighty took a deep breath and looked around the forest. He noticed something he hadn't before, a small patch of earth near the base of the oak tree that seemed slightly disturbed. With renewed hope, Nighty rushed over and began to dig. To his delight, there, buried beneath the soft soil, was his special acorn, just as shiny and perfect as the day he had hidden it. Nighty squealed with joy and hugged his acorn tight. "Thank you, friends. I couldn't have found it without you." The owl and rabbit smiled warmly. "That's what friends are for," said the owl. Nighty learned that day that even when things seem lost, with a little help from friends and a bit of determination, anything can be found. And from then on, Nighty always remembered to mark his hiding spots with a small twig or leaf, so he would never lose his treasures again. Good night, children. May you always find what you're looking for, and may your dreams be filled with the joy of friendship and discovery.